And from there, they took that into a blowout at Lincoln Southeast. They pulled the upset at Papio South, 51-48, and then they beat Burke 52-40. They've got a lot of really good players, none more important than Lucy Schonlau, the sophomore forward who's averaging 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks, and put up 15 points against Burke, the anchor of that defense, and that defense has been key for Westside over this run.
Yeah, and you take a look at what they've done in this tournament. They've got the 2 upset wins, as you mentioned, over 4th-ranked Papillion La Vista South, as well as 5th-ranked Omaha Burke. And you see what these 2 teams did yesterday in the quarterfinals. Westside with a 52-40 win over Burke. Lucy Schonlau, another big game, 15 points, 13 rebounds. It was her 3rd straight double-double. Olivia Kraft had 18 points on 6 3-pointers. Big day for her. And for Burke, held to just 9 points in the middle 2 quarters. Westside played nice defense as well when it mattered. And then for Millard South, 72-55 over Omaha Marion. Maya Babbitt, their typical leading scorer, with 18 points. And then Cora Olson and Megan Belt, each with 14 points. 4 players scoring double digits for Millard South. They've got one heck of an offense.
And it's even better for them because all 4 of those players were pretty key contributors on last year's team that went 28-2 and made the semifinals before losing to Lincoln Pius, the eventual state champ. So this team's got experience and they've got talent, but they're going up against the Westside team that's, again, as you said, looking to pull yet another upset. And I think this is going to be a close game, an exciting game. It's really going to come down to who can own the boards because both these teams have struggled with shooting at times. Westside only shooting 32% from the field. So if you can control the boards, you can probably win this game.
All right, let's take a look at today's starters. First for Millard South, number 10, Megan Belt, a junior guard. Number 22, Cora Olson, a sophomore guard. Number 23, Maya Babbitt, the leading scorer, another sophomore guard. Number 24, Chloe Lemon, another sophomore guard. And number 34, Juliana Jones, a shooting guard and power forward, a sophomore as well. And then on the other side for the visiting Westside Warriors, number 11, Madeline Siebler, she's a junior forward. Number 20, Adriana DePrima, a junior guard. Number 22, Caitlin Hanna, another junior guard. Number 23, Olivia Kraft, a junior guard. And number 42, Lucy Schonlau, who plays in the post and is a sophomore. Brendan, a lot of good players here in this one today. Who you keep an eye on the most today?
I'm keeping an eye on Olivia Kraft. You mentioned she had 18 points against Burke, all of them coming from 3. She's shooting 37% from beyond the arc this year. That's well above the team average. So they're going to need her to have a big game if they want to pull the upset over this undefeated Millard South team.
And you see Westside starters coming out. They're having some fun, making a very unprecedented run, beating these 2 top 5 teams as the number 13 seed as Millard South gets set to come out. And you see what some of these Westside starters have done. Madeline Siebler's got 13 combined points in the last 2 games. Adriana DePrima has 7 or more points in 3 of her last 4. Caitlin Hanna's got 15 assists combined in her last 2 games. Olivia Kraft, all of her points have come from downtown this year, including the 18 she scored on 6 3-pointers yesterday. And then Lucy Schonlau, who's the big name, averaging over a double-double per game with 11.9 points per game, 10.4 rebounds per game. She's got 4 double-doubles this year, 15 points, 14 rebounds yesterday. Huge game for her. And then on the other side, Millard South, Cora Olson had 14 points. Maya Babbitt had 18. Chloe Lemon had 12 yesterday. Megan Belt had 14. 4 points scoring in the double digits. So Millard South has a great offense. Do you think Westside's good enough to stop them, Brendan?
I mean, Westside's defense, as I mentioned, has been key. They're only giving up 37.4 points a game, and that's on pace with Millard South, who's giving up 37.7. The difference is this Millard South team is a team the level of which Westside hasn't had to play this year. Their 2 losses are to Millard North and Norfolk so far. Those are both solid teams, but they're not quite on the level of a Millard South. So it's really going to come down to the post defense, especially by Schonlau. How is Westside going to be able to prevent Millard South from imposing their will inside? That's going to decide this game.
Well, Schonlau is the tallest player on the court at 6'4". These 2 teams have holiday tournament history. Millard South defeated Westside 54-40 for the girls' championship last year, and we will decide who goes to the championship with this one today. The semifinals underway. Westside wins the tip. Here is Caitlin Hanna for the Warriors.
And you can see Schonlau on the post drawing a lot of attention already. Millard South wants to make sure that she doesn't have anything too easy.
Olivia Kraft now gets it inside. Here goes Sean Law. Has that size advantage at 6'4". Lost the handle, gets it back. Can't get the shot to go. And the rebound pulled in by Megan Belt. Long pass ahead to Chloe Lemon. And she drops it off for Cora Olson. Kicks it over to Maya Babbitt, the leading scorer. 18 points yesterday.
And Millard South likes to push the pace, averaging almost 68 points a game. If Westside's able to force them to slow it down, then the chances of an upset become that much greater because Millard South will have to play the game on Westside's terms.
Cora Olson tries to drive in. The shot does not go. Rebound is pulled in by Adriana DePrima, and it'll be settled down by DePrima, and she gives it to Madeline Siebler. Back into the corner. 3-point try is off the mark from Olivia Kraft. She's able to get it back, though, off the rebound. And now it's settled down in the corner for Caitlin Hanna. Hanna to the top. Guarded by Megan Belt. Still looking for somewhere to go.
And both teams doing a good job keeping the post bottled up. No easy drives today.
Yeah, but there's a foul. As driving in was Madeline Siebler. Looked like she was fouled by Chloe Lemon, and we will have our first free throws of the game coming from number 11 in red with 6:38 to go in the first quarter. So Siebler will shoot 50% from the free throw line this year. First one is up and good. And Westside has the first points of the morning.
And Siebler's been a key contributor for this team, averaging about 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. So she's contributing on both offense and defense, which they've needed throughout this run. She might have to push that production up a little bit if Millard South turns this into a fast break game and forces a lot of scoring to come from Westside.
Second free throw came up well short, went out of bounds. Millard South basketball. 6.5 to play in the opening quarter. Inside, here's Chloe Lemon. Looking for a pass. Able to get it to Megan Belt. Well, it looks like they got a 3-second violation called, and Westside will take over.
And you mentioned Sean Lau, the tallest player on the floor this morning, I guess, at 6'4", and that could be key for Westside because you've got girls on the Millard South team who normally would be able to drive in but can't because of Sean Lau's height and are forced to settle for long jump shots that have less of a chance of going in.
There's the inside work from Lucy Schonlaw, but the shot too strong off the glass. Here comes Millard South the other way. Chloe Lemon leading the charge. Kicks it out. 3-point try from the corner, and it's good. There's Maya Babbitt, the leading scorer. 18 yesterday. She's got her first 3 this morning, and Millard South takes a 3-1 lead. And now you see the full court press coming from the Patriots, trying to force a turnover, double teaming Madeline Siebler. And they did get the turnover. Millard South will take over, 5:45 to go. So the Patriots, it was a bit of a slow start on offense, but they're starting to get things together now.
And one of the things for them is they want to force Westside to make a lot of mistakes because Westside's averaging almost 16 turnovers a game. They're forcing 13, but you have to win the turnover battle in what's looked to be a low-scoring game like this. If you can't win the turnover battle, you're probably not going to win the game.
Well, Millard South, I don't think they want it to be a low-scoring game anymore. Back-to-back threes, that one from Megan Belt, and it's a 6-1 ball game in favor of the Patriots. There's that defense again, but this time a foul is called, and it's against Juliana Jones. 5:22 to go in the first quarter. Foul called on the floor. Millard South already with 2 fouls. Nothing yet from Westside.
And performance beyond the arc will be key for both teams today. Both teams have struggled a little bit, but if you're able to get the open threes and start knocking them down, then that forces the defense to spread out even further and just keeps the probability up that the lane will be unguarded for a nice layup. And the threes will just lead to more scoring. If there's not any threes, then there's probably not a lot of scoring.
How about that speed there from number 11, Lexi Finkenbeiner? She couldn't get the shot to go off. A nice pass, and Westside will take it back the other way. 4:50 to go in the first quarter. Caitlin Hanna, guarded by Finkenbeiner, gets it to Sean Law. No points yet, and that won't change as she comes up short.
And Juliana Jones doing a really good job on Sean Law right now, giving up 4 inches in height, but done a good job at forcing Sean Law to work away from the basket and put up the shots that are from farther away.
Well, wide open in the paint there was Lexi Finkenbeiner coming off the bench. She's got her first 2 points, and Millard South has scored 8 unanswered to take a 7-point lead early on.
And Finkenbeiner, one of the few sophomores on this Millard South team that wasn't a key contributor last year. They're asking her to step up after losing some seniors, and she appears to be able to do so far.
Caitlin Hanna for three comes up short, and Millard South will take over. 4:07 to go in the first quarter. Patriots off to another nice start offensively. They're the best offensive team in this tournament, and they're showing you why early on.
Yeah, they put up 70-plus in both of their tournament games so far, 79 versus Omaha South and then 72 versus Marion. This is a team that really likes to run and get those layups and threes. That's all they've scored on so far, but it's working well for them. They've got the 8-1 lead.
Driving in and taking some contact and a foul there. It was Cora Olson going into the paint, and she was fouled by Madeline Siebler. They called a shooting foul, and going to the line to shoot two will be Cora Olson, the sophomore guard.
And that is 2 on Siebler, I believe, for Westside. So they've got to be careful because she's one of the biggest contributors to that team, as I mentioned earlier, averaging 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. If they can't rely on her, then they might have to dig deeper into their bench, and that's unadvisable against a team as talented as Millard South.
Going 1 for 2 from the line is Cora Olson, making it a 9-1 game for Millard South. And there's that full court press defense from the Patriots. They force another turnover. Here comes Maya Babbitt back the other way, looking for a basket, gets into the paint, and the high bank shot goes in. 5 points early on for Maya Babbitt. As Millard South actually got another turnover. Westside was able to take it back, though. And here comes Caitlin Hanna. Westside has given up 11 straight. They need to answer here with 3:25 left in the first quarter. Inside, they might have forced another turnover, and looks like out of bounds is called, and it will be Westside, or make that Millard South ball.
And for any of the viewers who were with us yesterday, you might recall me talking about how three-pointers, free throws, and layups were the shots that the Westside boys team wanted. It looks like the Millard South girls team wants the exact same things, and they've gotten it so far. All of their points have been in the paint, beyond the arc, or at the free throw line so far. And I don't expect that habit to change too much as this game goes on. Millard South has their offense, and they like to stick to it.
Nice shot fake there, setting up a three-pointer, which comes up short for Juliana Jones, and Sean Law is able to get the rebound. Here comes Westside the other way. 3 minutes remain in the opening quarter. Patriots have opened up a 10-point lead. That pass nearly thrown away, but reeled in by Olivia Kraft.
And an interesting decision by Millard South on that last offensive possession to have Juliana Jones, who is 6 feet tall, go out on the perimeter and attempt a three-pointer. Maybe what they're trying to do is get Sean Law out of the paint, who stands at 6'4", to prevent having that big post presence there to stop a potential drive and layup.
Three-pointer was no good from Caitlin Hanna. Layup does not get the bounce. And looks like a foul is called, and it will be Westside ball with 2:30 to go.
Looks like it's on Juliana Jones. That's her second, too.
So Juliana Jones with 2 fouls. You mentioned Madeline Siebler has 2 on the other side for Westside, so a little bit of early foul trouble for a couple players on these two teams.
And Jones's foul trouble, that could be bad for the Patriots, but not necessarily devastating. They've also got Caitlin Lessig, the lone senior on this team, also stands at 6 feet tall, could easily be used to guard Sean Law.
So timeout is called for by Westside. They started off at a 1-0 lead, but then Millard South, beginning with 2 3-pointers, able to score 11 unanswered to take a 10-point lead. 2:26 to go in the first quarter. Leading scorers so far, Maya Babbitt with 5 for Millard South, followed by Megan Belt with 3. Over on Westside's half, it's Madeline Siebler with 1. That's it. And it was just 1 free throw. So what do you think Westside needs to do to get this offense going? And first and foremost, stop Millard South.
Well, on offense, they got to get Sean Law going. You mentioned she's coming off 3 straight double-doubles. Nothing so far, and most of her shots have come from probably a lot farther away from the hoop than she would like them to. So they've got to start getting Sean Law position on the block so she can take the shots that she wants to take and start getting those points up. And then on defense for Westside, I'd say it's just start playing tighter coverage on the perimeter because they've been burned a couple times when either someone's been on the perimeter and had an open 3 or been on the perimeter and just had a whole lot of space to drive and had momentum by the time they got to the hoop. So Westside's got to start watching the perimeter more than they are the post.
Yeah, Westside's been fairly loose defensively. We've seen plenty of space for Millard South to operate with, and not much on the other side for Westside offensively. Millard South playing that full court press defense. They're doing it again here. They forced plenty of turnovers so far. Here comes Caitlin Hanna trying to get out of the back court. She's in trouble. Able to get it away and hustling her way out, but traveling in the process there was Ruby Sikora. Millard South with that press defense forces yet another turnover.
One of the biggest things about the press isn't necessarily the physical effect it has on the team. They're taking longer to get their offense set up, et cetera, but the mental effect, because press is also a basketball term used to define somebody who's like struggling to get their shot going. They're mentally pressing. They're trying too hard, and it looks like that's what some of the Westside players are starting to do because of the pressure defense put on by Millard South.
And that pass was in the hands of Sean Law for a turnover, but couldn't reel it in out of bounds. Millard South will hold on to the basketball. 1:56 to go in the opening quarter. 11-1 lead for the Patriots, trying to add to it. Might have gotten a piece of that there. Olivia Kraft, as the layup was no good. Here comes Westside the other way. Pass was behind Ruby Sikora. She's able to get to it in the corner. Up to Caitlin Hanna.
And Millard South doing a great job at pressuring on the perimeter. Nothing easy for Westside beyond the arc. Nothing easy for Westside inside the arc so far either.
Lucy Seanlaw, nothing yet from her. Working into the paint. Nice spin move. Shot does not go. And there's a foul as the rebound was pulled in there.
Looks like it's going to be on Sean Law for going over the back after the rebound.
Yep, Cora Olson was able to grab the board for Millard South, and Sean Law is called for the foul.
And one of the things Westside wants to avoid is potential frustration from Sean Law, because that was a good move, didn't result in the bucket. But what you don't want to do is have Sean Law come back down the next possession and start throwing elbows or doing something risky to try and get those points made up.
Three-pointer was missed by Millard South, and then on the other end, a jump shot missed by Ruby Sikora. Here comes Millard South quickly the other way, and nice work by Cora Olson, but the shot doesn't go. It's kicked out. Nice extra pass from Megan Belt, and the three is up and good. Maya Babbitt with her second, and she's got 8 points. What a first quarter for Babbitt.
She was the team's leading scorer against Marion with 18. Well on pace for that already, and the defense to offense has been working incredibly for Millard South so far this game.
Foul is called against Westside as Millard South forced another steal. It's becoming a broken record at this point. That press defense is just dominating the Warriors early on in this one.
Yeah. Looked like that one was on Ruby Sikora. That's her first, but that's 4 on Westside. So already down big in the scoring situation, and they don't want to get down too big in the foul situation either. That could spell real trouble for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Already down 13. Millard South with the basketball again. Megan Belt.
And Sean Law's out of the paint now, so this is the time for Millard South to attack.
Oh, but there's a steal. Almost. Poking it away was Caitlin Hanna, unable to chase it down, though. As here comes Chloe Lemon. Nice move. And good work to get the basket. Lemon's first 2 points. 10 seconds left. 15-point lead for Millard South. Here comes Caitlin Hanna for Westside. And another turnover forced by Millard South.
Lots of steals. Westside already well on pace for those 16 turnovers.
5 seconds left. Deep three-pointer. Megan Belt off the mark. And that is how the first quarter will come to a close. The Millard South Patriots putting on a show in the first quarter, showing us all why they're the top-seeded team in the tournament. 16-1 lead after 8 minutes of basketball over Westside.
And they've done really well at going for loose balls, whether those are off rebounds or steals, and just getting to them. I've probably lost track of the points that have come off steals for them, but it's got to be at least half of their points. And then they've gotten a couple of offensive rebounds that have led to three-pointers as well. So Millard South right now just seems to want it more. And you've got to figure for Westside, maybe an era of desperation starts to set in, especially considering they're the 13 seed. And normally that goes one of two ways for a team. Either the desperation leads to them playing harder and they start getting those loose balls, those rebounds, those steals, and they go on a run. Or they start throwing the ball away, throwing up crazy shots, and they dig themselves an even deeper hole. So Westside's got to be careful that it's the first one for them and not the second one.
Leading scores after one quarter play for Millard South. They're lighting it up. Maya Babbitt's got 8 points, 2 3-pointers from her. She put up 18 points yesterday, on track to break that mark today. Megan Belt put up 3 points. She hit one from downtown. Chloe Lemon's got 2. Lexi Finkenbeiner's got 2 for the Patriots. And Cora Olson has 1 on a free throw. And then on the other side, Westside just 1 point to show for. And nothing yet from their leading scorer, Lucy Seanlaw, who's been so dominant this year. Madeline Siebler's got the only point. It was the first point of the game. It came on a free throw. And it was answered by 16 straight by Millard South for the rest of the quarter. So what do you think has to change for Westside?
I think that Sean Law's really got to start winning her matchup, whether it's against Caitlin Lessig or Juliana Jones. Sean Law has not really shown the post presence that we expected in the pregame. So she's going to have to really start asserting herself on offense and defense and really force those Millard South bigs to get uncomfortable.
Offensive rebound and a putback. Maya Babbitt with another one. She's got 10 points to open up the second quarter. And there's that defense again. If you're just joining us, Millard South has been dominant both offensively and defensively with this full court press defense. And they force yet another turnover. This time a double dribble is called against Madeline Siebler. I mean, we've seen a lot of games, not any girls games to this point, but man, it's incredible what this full court press defense is doing. I've never seen anything like this.
We saw it a couple times with Prep and Westside last night. I mean, we saw Majay Wiley struggle to inbound the ball a little bit. We remember that 5-second call that nearly gave us both a heart attack last night. So the press can work wonders on your opponent's mental health and not for the better, which is exactly what Millard South wants.
Megan Belt's three-pointer no good. Rebound was pulled in by Adriana DePrima. And Westside this time able to get out of their back court. And we'll see if they can get on the board for the first time since they took a 1-0 lead just under a minute in.
And the perimeter pressure just continues for Westside. Or for Millard South. Westside just can't get a drive right now at all.
Sean Law trying to drive, and she was fouled on the way there, so it'll be called against Juliana Jones, who, as we mentioned earlier,
I think that might be 3 on Juliana Jones.
She is going to check out, so early foul trouble for Juliana Jones.
They've got to be very careful because aside from her, there's only Caitlin Lessig who could really guard Sean Law, and after that, that's basically it for the Millard South roster. So they got to be careful that either Jones calms down or that Lessig doesn't get into any foul trouble, or they're going to have to put someone who's a lot shorter on Sean Law, and that's probably going to lead to a lot of Westside points.
Inbound to Madeline Siebler. She has the only Westside point of the game. Able to drop it off. Three-point try is off the mark from Olivia Kraft. Out of bounds, Millard South basketball. Chance to reach 20 points on this possession, as Maya Babbitt will lead the charge the other way. Now Chloe Lemon trying to drive in. Good defense from Madeline Siebler, but the kick out is there. Cora Olsen's three is no good, and there's a height advantage from Sean Law, able to pull in the rebound.
And the drive and kick from Millard South has worked wonders. You mentioned that the defense was a little bit lax for Westside earlier, and it continues to be that way. They're collapsing to the paint, but that's leaving perimeter shots wide open.
There's a foul called on the drive to the basket. Adriana DePrima will go to the line to shoot two, as it's against Lexi Finkenbeiner of Millard South, so a chance for Westside to finally put an end to this 18-0 run that Millard South has put on. First free throw is no good, however, for DePrima. 67% from the free throw line this year. Let's see if she can hit her second. Up and no good, so she goes 0 for 2. Sean Law nearly got to the rebound, but Millard South's got it heading the other way. 2-on-2, Megan Belt able to get past Caitlin Hanna and finish. 5 points for Megan Belt.
Good crossover dribble to get past the defender. And Millard South has just done an incredible job at breaking the pressure by Westside. They're making a lot of great passes. This is a very unselfish team. Nobody really cares who gets the bucket as long as somebody does, and it's working wonders for them right now.
There's a fast break basket. Nice work by Adriana DePrima. The defense caught up to her from behind, but she was still able to get the basket to go. Now Millard South looking to answer the other way. Lexi Finkenbeiner down to Cora Olsen on the baseline. Finkenbeiner fell down in the paint and still able to get the basket to go is Cora Olsen. She's got 3 points now, and it's 22-3 Millard South.
And it was Sean Law on Cora Olsen there. Olsen is 5'9", Sean Law is 6'4", but Olsen able to use the speed to get past Sean Law and score, and Millard South has done very well at drawing Sean Law out of the paint and forcing her to guard people on the perimeter.
Wide open in the paint, and some nice patience there from Olivia Kraft, her first points of the morning, and it's 24-3, or make it 22-5 in favor of Millard South.
And that is the danger of pressing for the entire game. Eventually, the opposition could figure out the press and be able to start breaking it more easily, and it looks like that might be what Westside's starting to do.
Yeah, some better defense as well, as Lucy Seanlaw is able to force a miss. Here comes Westside the other way. Caitlin Hanna, Adriana DePrimo, open three, but she traveled before she took it. 4:32 to go in the third quarter, and Millard South will take over the basketball. And one thing I've definitely noticed, not only is Millard South playing better offense, better defense than Westside, they look a whole lot faster too.
And Westside might have noticed that. Shamla not in the game anymore. Nobody else on the Westside roster is over 5'8". So this might be a time for Westside to really start using their speed.
Foul called there on the floor. Madeline Siebler doesn't like the call.
That's 3 on her. I don't blame her. I wouldn't like that call either.
So it looks like Siebler will come out of the game. So Siebler with 3 fouls for Westside. We've already seen Juliana Jones of Millard South come out of the game with 3 fouls. As Millard South will inbound, quick 3-pointer. Maya Babbitt, no good. But a travel is called, as pulling in the rebound was Lexi Finkenbeiner. A lot of unforced errors early on in this one. Defense helping to cause that for sure. As Westside will take over, nearly a steal. And now coming back the other way, here comes Olivia Kraft. Pass ahead was knocked away, and Millard South will take over with Chloe Lemon.
And Millard South continues to force the 50-50 passes that both they and Westside have an equal chance at. But right now, their lineup is just as tall, if not taller, than the Westside lineup out there. So they're winning a lot more of those plays than Westside is.
Oh, beautiful move. Maya Babbitt stopping on a dime and taking it to the basket. 12 points for her and a 19-point Patriot lead. And now there you see the defense again. Battle for the basketball on the floor. It's going to be a jump ball, and possession will stay with Westside. 3:37 to go in the first half. Checking into the game for the Patriots, Megan Belt. Coming out is Maya Babbitt with those 12 points. Excellent effort from 23 in white to start the game.
And Westside's really got to start trying to find a new way to break the press, because they've had a couple times where they've been able to successfully do it, but otherwise not much. They've got to use the advantage that they get when they break the press to score.
Nice route to the basket there, but the layup no good from Caitlin Hanna. Here comes Millard South the other way. Westside
like
fans,
a double dribble.
Yeah, they want a double dribble, but no call. It eventually goes out of bounds. Westside fans still not happy, but Millard South will keep possession and inbound.
And you got to wonder if maybe Westside's thinking about putting the press on Millard South. They don't necessarily want to play Millard South's game, as some of the cardboard fans get hit by the basketball.
Get a souvenir.
Yeah. But you do want to make sure that you're able to get something going on offense. And right now, Westside's been playing their game, but they haven't gotten anything going.
Off the inbound, Megan Belt from the top of the arc, no good. And another steal is forced, but stepping out of bounds by the slimmest of margins there on the sideline was Cora Olson, and Westside will take over. Just over 3 minutes to play in the first half. As checking back into the game, Maya Babbitt. Coming out for the Patriots, Chloe Lemon. She's got 2 points. Babbitt back into the game with 12. 2 3-pointers from her as well. Had 18 yesterday. Having an excellent day once again here this morning, but wide open for Westside on the other end, and getting it to go. Ruby Sakura with her first 2 points, and it's 24-7.
And you can't just leave someone wide open behind you. And there is the danger, of course, for Westside that you can't make that pass, but sometimes that's something you're going to have to risk if you want to get the bucket. It works there for Westside, and they get 2.
Shooting foul was called against Adriana DePrima, going to the line to shoot 2 free throws, Cora Olson. Already 3 points for Olson. And the first one is up and good, gets the roll. Lead up to 18 for Millard South, 2:44 remaining until the halftime break. Here comes the second free throw for Olson. Getting set to check back in for the Patriots, Chloe Lemon. Second free throw up and good. Olson goes 2 for 2 from the line, and here comes Lemon, as Olson will take a seat on the bench with 5 points.
And Lucy Schrammlau still not in for the Warriors. Played the entire first quarter and a good portion of the second, but you got to figure maybe Westside's trying to go small here and see what works.
Yeah, but it's still not working. That defense is just constant from Millard South. Nice pass, lead pass by the basket, no good. It was a tough angle there under the basket for Miranda Kelly, and a foul is called as Westside coming back the other way. And it is against Miranda Kelly. Both teams now with 6 fouls, so 1 away from going into the bonus for either side, as here comes Sean Law back into the game. Checking in for Bree Bell.
And you got to wonder if Westside's going to try to press the size advantage that they now have, because both teams were going with a small lineup. Neither Lessig nor Jones are in for Millard South. You got to wonder if they want Sean Law to just take the advantage and get some easy shots in the post.
Oh, nice move right along the baseline to the basket, but the shot no good from Caitlin Hanna. Ball out of bounds. Patriot basketball with 2:08 to go.
I think that went off Kelly, but I mean.
Yeah, she was basically falling right on top of it. It was just a question of whether the ball rolled out of bounds first.
I guess it was, and refs probably got a better angle than we do. Well,
yeah.
But all the same, some of the Westside fans seem to disagree with him again.
So here is Megan Belt for the Patriots. Stops up, gives it back for Maya Babbitt. Now Chloe Lemon, nice spin move and the left-hand finish. Beautiful work from Lemon. She's up to 4 points. And it's a 21-point Patriot lead.
And Millard South has done a great job at winning the one-on-one battles, especially with players like Lemon and Babbitt. They've just used their great dribbling skills to get open and get the layup.
Adriana DePrima for the Warriors. Scoop layup didn't go. She's able to get her own rebound. Nice work on the reverse there. Excellent sequence from DePrima and a 28-9 game.
And DePrima has taken over the Westside offense this quarter. Got a pair of free throws, couldn't hit them, but now has 2 layups and might be able to inject a spark into that Westside offense, which they kind of desperately need right now, down 28-9.
Three-pointer was missed by Miranda Kelly. Ball rolls out of bounds. Westside basketball. Kelly will check out of the game. Cora Olson back in for the Patriots with 5 points. Westside will inbound. 1:05 to play in the first half. See if the Warriors can generate a little bit of momentum here before the break. Open three. Opportunity from the top is just short from Olivia Kraft, and Millard South coming back the other way with Cora Olson.
And Kraft hit 6 of those three-pointers yesterday. She's got to start hitting some of those today if Westside wants to dig themselves back out of this hole. But if she can't hit those threes, then that's yet another element of Westside's offense, along with Sean Lai on the post, that just hasn't shown up so far today.
Three-pointer was missed by Chloe Lemon of the Patriots. Here are the Warriors now, 30 seconds left. Lucy Seanlaw looking for some space, still scoreless on the day. Working hard and finally getting the basket. Seanlaw with her first 2 points, and it's 28-11, 20 seconds to go. Here come the Patriots. Megan Belt looking for the basket, and she gets it to go. 7 points for Belt. And now 10 seconds left, opportunity for the Warriors to get the last shot, trailing by 19.
And you don't need to do anything desperate here. Just get an open shot and a good look.
Here's Olivia Kraft. Running shot. Oh, how about that touch from Kraft to beat the buzzer as we go to halftime. But Millard South, impressive as ever in this first half. 30-13 lead over the Warriors in the semifinal, with Maya Babbitt leading the way with 12 points for the Patriots. Impressive stuff from the top seed in the tournament. Semifinal game, Patriots and Warriors. We'll be back in 10 minutes to bring you the second half and decide who goes to the championship game. Welcome back to the Hyder Center Metro Holiday Tournament Girls Semifinals between the top-ranked Millard South Patriots and the 13th seeded Omaha Westside Warriors. Tyler Reedy and Brendan Preisman bringing you this one, and it's been an exciting game so far if you're a Patriots fan. Millard South has been dominant in all aspects of this game. Westside made a little bit of a run late in the first half, but Millard South just a huge lead, 30-13, showing us all why they're the top-seeded team in the tournament.
Yeah, this game kind of reminded me a little bit of the game that Westside had yesterday, the boys team against Prep. In that game, the Westside boys team had a great first quarter, and then Prep kind of made a run in the second quarter to have a 2-point game. And Westside did have a run in the second quarter. The difference was they were already down so much that the run didn't make much of a difference. A 16-1 first quarter scoring advantage for Millard South, and much of that is due to Maya Babbitt. She had 8 in the first quarter, 4 in the second. She's got 12 points right now, only 1 off the Westside team total. So Babbitt is definitely going to be someone to watch for the second half.
Yeah, Babbitt, as you said, scored 12. Megan Belt has 7 for Millard South. Cora Olson with 5 for the Patriots. Then on the other side for Westside, they got their scoring going just a little bit late in that first half, as I said. Adrian DePrima and Olivia Kraft are tied for the lead with 4 points each. Lucy Schonlaw, normal leading scorer, averages about 11 per game. Slow start, only 2 in that first half. We'll see what Westside can do to try and mount a comeback here in the second half.
And you mentioned Kraft with 4 points. That's pretty big news for Westside because it's her first points that haven't come from beyond the arc this year. So maybe good signs of offense to come for the Warriors.
Here are the Patriots starting with the basketball here in the second half. Juliana Jones, 3 fouls in the first half. She's back out of foul trouble for now. Here's Maya Babbitt, moves back beyond the arc. Juliana Jones in the corner
and Jones, again, spending a lot of time in the perimeter. They like to draw Sean Law out, and they've done that a lot today. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't, but it doesn't look like it's working right now.
Westside with good defense here on this opening possession. Their crowd trying to get behind them here as Maya Babbitt fakes a 3, drives in, backs out. Over to Cora Olson. Juliana Jones back to Olson. Possession has been almost a minute here as Olson finally able to drive in, and the basket's no good. So all of that for nothing from the Patriots. Nice job by the Warrior defense.
And that's exactly what they needed to open the half, a good defensive stop on a long possession. They forced Millard South to play their game, and then they won it.
Sean Law's pass was batted down by Maya Babbitt, and Sean Law hit the ground hard there. Looks like she's all right, fortunately. Here come the Patriots the other way. Chloe Lemon kicks it out, open 3. It is up and good. Wide open there was Cora Olson. She's up to 8 points, and the Patriots lead back up to 20 to start the second half.
And the press is back on for them. They used that to such great effect in the first half, and it doesn't look like much is going to change this half.
Yep, Westside is able to get out of their backcourt, though, with Caitlin Hanna. Double teamed, however. Tried to get it to Sean Law, but it was intercepted. Sean Law was not in a great position there. And here comes Millard South the other way. Jones kicks it out. Olson to Chloe Lemon for the 3-pointer, and it's a 23-point lead for Millard South.
And some great positioning there by the Millard South offense. There was an extra pass there. There could have even been another extra pass if they'd wished. They had 2 different players just sitting wide open in the corner, and a 3 for Millard South results. They've been doing a great job at spacing their players well and getting open looks.
Westside had a couple players in the paint there, had a chance, but Millard South able to recover defensively. It'll be a jump ball. Possession will stay with Westside. That's the one very, very small downside of the full court press Millard South has played. If Westside is able to get past the press in the backcourt, leaves them with 2-on-1, 3-on-2, wide open players in the paint on the offensive end.
But even then, as we saw there, Millard South's player-on-player defense has just been so effective that it hasn't really mattered all that much. There was a 2-on-1 scenario right there with 2 different Westside players on the block, and it resulted in a jump ball. So if you're Westside, you're thinking, well, geez, we did everything right there, and we still couldn't convert the layup. What are we supposed to do?
Madeline Siebler gets it inside. Here's Sean Law blocked, trying to go up. She was double teamed, and here comes Millard South the other way. Cora Olson kicks it out. Driving in Chloe Lemon. 3-pointer, Juliana Jones from the top, in and out. And Sean Law able to wrestle away the rebound. There is a foul, and it is against the Patriots. Looks like they called that one on Cora Olson. 5:17 to go in the third quarter. Not a ton of scoring to start the second half. 6 points so far for the Patriots, none for the Warriors.
And Olson, a key contributor for this team all year. She had 14 against Marion, and she's done a good job both offensively and defensively, really helping transform this team on the fast breaks alongside Maya Babbitt.
There's the full court press doing its thing again as a double dribble is called on Caitlin Hanna, and Millard South takes over in the offensive end. Is checking out of the game. Megan Belt will come out for Millard South. Lexi Finkenbeiner is in for the Patriots. Maya Babbitt over to Chloe Lemon. Tough shot. Can't get it to go. Finkenbeiner gets an offensive board. And it looks like a foul is called against Millard South. Offensive foul, Westside basketball.
Looks like that was Lemon trying to get position, a little too much position there for her. And it's 36-13, and Lemon has done a really good job so far this game, along with a couple of other players, namely Babbitt and Olson, of driving when they're in their one-on-one situations, and they're getting to the hoop, and they're making those opportunities count. Most of their layups have either been rebounded, scored, or they've gotten fouled. So they've done a really, really good job at making their one-on-one opportunities count.
Defense forces another turnover as the pass went out of bounds. Three-pointer no good from Megan Belt, who's back in the game as Chloe Lemon checked out. Here comes Westside the other way, trailing by 23. Caitlin Hanna gets it to Sean Law up at the top, looking for a lane to drive in, lost the handle, and it comes right to Maya Babbitt. Racing the other way, now in a one-on-one with Siebler. She goes right around, but the layup no good. And a foul is called as Westside tries to go the other way, drawn by Adriana DePrima.
Seems like that one's on Finkenbeiner. That's her first.
Second personal against Finkenbeiner.
Second, okay.
Yep, so
And I think one of the issues that Westside's been facing is that they're just starting Sean Law too high on their offensive possessions. When she gets the ball, it's at the free throw line or the elbow. That's not normally where you want a post player to start. Even if they're a really, really great post player, which Sean Law is, you run the risk of having the defense collapse on them before they can even get to the block. So if I'm Westside, I'm probably starting Sean Law a little bit lower.
And another steal.
Seeing what happens.
Here comes Maya Babbitt. Gets it to Chloe Lemon. Oh, watch out there. She went head on into Madeline Siebler. Hopefully everybody's okay down there.
That's 4 on Siebler,
Yeah.
I think. They got to be really careful with her.
Yeah, Chloe Lemon looks to be okay. Look a little shaken up right off the bat, but she's all right. Siebler will check out of the game, as he said, with those fouls. And coming in, Ruby Sakura for the Warriors. And a travel is called with 4:16 to go in the third. Westside will take over. Still a 36-13 ball game in favor of the Patriots. As checking back in now for the Warriors, Caitlin Hanna. And Olivia Kraft will take a seat on the bench.
And the press continuing to work wonders for Millard South. Westside already forced back to their own free throw line, and there's nothing in sight for them. They got to be really careful to stop. I mean, that's a basket for Lemon, but Westside's, I think, got to stop putting outlet players so deep, because they've got right now Adriana DePrima standing alone behind half court. I don't think they can afford to risk that. They need all their players on their own side of the court to break the press, because right now, just having 3 players going up against 4 defenders, it's not working.
Timeout called for by Westside, 38-13, 3:52 to go in the third quarter. We'll see what these two teams can come up with after this timeout. I mean, what are you talking about, especially if you're Millard South, just to close this game out? They've done basically everything right so far, especially with that defense.
If I'm in the Millard South huddle, I'm just saying, all right, guys, keep doing what we're doing. This is working very well.
Obviously, if they are to win this game and move on to the championship, it's going to be a tougher matchup with either second-ranked Central or third-ranked Gretna. So is there anything you're looking to improve here just in these last 11 minutes if you're Millard South?
It's difficult to say because, as you mentioned, basically nothing's gone wrong for them. I will say that make sure that my basketball team, we call it the free safety when we run the press. There's always someone back where no one's behind them.
Yeah.
Millard South does not have that. And against a team that's better than Westside, you run the risk of having that exploited and getting a lot of open layups for the other team. So if I'm Millard South, that's the one weakness I'm looking at, is how can we make sure we don't get anybody behind us when we're pressing? Other than that, I think this has been a perfect basketball game for them.
Yeah, they're in a good position to make a run at this thing, and their next 39 minutes and 52 seconds of basketball with this game and potentially the championship coming up on Saturday. Here comes that full court press again. Westside is able to get out. There's that wide open player. Cheney Thompson could not make the catch, but stepping out of bounds was Maya Babbitt for Millard South. Westside takes over on the offensive end.
And I mentioned the mental effect that the press can have earlier, and there's another mental effect the press can have. Sometimes as a player you just get so wide open, you're like, oh, I got this, and then you overthink things, and you drop the ball like Thompson did there.
Here comes DePrima. Adriana DePrima able to get the shot to go. She leads the way with 6 points for the Warriors, and it's a 38-15 game.
And DePrima has really done a good job since the first quarter ended at driving on her defender and getting the shots to fall. Westside might need to think about running the offense through her because right now nothing else is working.
Jump ball as there was a tug of war for the rebound there. Possession will stay with Westside. Or make that Millard South. Yeah, Millard South will keep it. 3:17 to go in the third quarter. Patriots leading by 23. Finkenbeiner gets the inbound to Babbitt up at the top. Over to Chloe Lemon. Nice spin move. But a foul is called, and Westside will take over.
That's 3 on Lemon if they count offensive fouls. But that is one thing that Millard South might want to be wary of also is on a lot of their drives, there's been some clear outs with the arm, the shoulder, or the elbow. So they do want to make sure that they don't end up in a tighter officiated game where plays like that are called every time down because they've had a lot of success with those clear outs. If those start getting called more often, then their offense might start to sputter a little bit.
Travel was called just before the three-point shot from DePrima as Millard South will make a substitution. Juliana Jones checks in for Chloe Lemon. And Millard South will work back the other way with a 23-point lead. Under 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Here's Megan Belt for the Patriots. Over to Cora Olson. Now Lexi Finkenbeiner. Back to Maya Babbitt. It's been a little quieter in the second half.
A lot of off-ball movement by the Patriots, doing a good job at getting people open.
And just as I say that, Babbitt's going to pour in a three-pointer to get her to 15 points on the morning. 41-15 Millard South, their largest lead of the game. And now the inbound and thrown off the foot of Caitlin Hanna. Millard South will take over in the offensive zone.
I think that was a great play by Lexi Finkenbeiner. I mentioned the off-ball movement, but Babbitt and Finkenbeiner had a great 1-2 game going off the ball where Babbitt ran around Finkenbeiner. Finkenbeiner screened off Babbitt's defender, and Babbitt just had a wide-open shot. Some great off-ball movement from Millard South results in the easy bucket.
Off the inbound, foul is called as Cora Olson was looking for the layup, and she will go to the line to shoot two. That one called against Cheney Thompson. It's her first personal foul of the game, and shooting two, Cora Olson. First one up, misses short. 2:25 to play in the third quarter. 41-15 lead for the Patriots. Here comes the second free throw from Olson. Up and rolls out. So 0 for 2 from the line on that trip. And Westside will head back the other way. Here comes Caitlin Hanna. Looking for some space. Gets it to Cheney Thompson. Up at the top now. Thompson guarded by Maya Babbitt. Able to get into the paint. Scoop layup does not go. And the rebound from Millard South. Here they come the other way with Juliana Jones.
And they're still pushing the pace. They're still trying to get every last point they can out of the fast breaks. And eventually, as this game wears on, that's going to lead to a lot of fatigue for the Westside players because you're just running up and down the court every time. And eventually that's going to start wearing on the legs. And the shots that weren't falling in the first half, they're definitely not going to fall in the fourth quarter.
Well, that one falls, and a foul is called as Cora Olson is putting in some work here in this third quarter. She's now up to 10 points, a chance to make it 11 with this free throw. There's now some substitutions being made. Sean Law has come out for Westside. Brebell checking in for the Warriors. Maya Babbitt will take a seat for Millard South as Miranda Kelly checks in.
And Olson tied for second on the team against Marion with 14 points. So far this game, she's done a really good job at driving to the hoop and either getting fouled or hitting the layup. In that case, she did both, but all of her points except for 3 have come off of layups or free throws. She's really been a post presence on the team so far, which is surprising considering that she's going up against a player like Shalma who's 6'4", but she's made it work.
She'll take a well-deserved seat on the bench as Chloe Lemon comes back in for Millard South. Nice play there by Caitlin Hanna to save the basketball. Here's a three. Cheney Thompson comes up short. Hanna able to grab the rebound initially, and it does kick out to the Warriors. Thompson with it again. Nice pass over to Kraft, and now inside shot does not go for Ruby Sikora, and here comes Millard South the other way with Juliana Jones. Ahead to Miranda Kelly. Now Megan Belt gets a screen, working to the paint, kicks it out. Jones. Now Lemon drives in. Good defense. Kick out to Finkenbeiner. Juliana Jones again on the near side. Now an open look for three. Chloe Lemon, no good, comes up short. Battle for the rebound. It will be a jump ball. Possession goes to Westside.
And the second effort just continues for Millard South. They've done an excellent job on offense at the drive and kick, and we've mentioned that in a couple of the prep games. That works very well for prep. It's working very well for them. The Westside defense, not all that great this game, and a big reason for that is because they just lose track of the people they're supposed to be guarding because they keep looking at the ball.
There's a three-pointer from Olivia Kraft. As she now leads the team with 7 points. 26-point game, 44-18. 40 seconds remaining in the third quarter. It's gone by pretty quickly. Patriots with the basketball. Megan Belt up at the top. Looking for some space. Kicks it to Finkenbeiner. Lexi Finkenbeiner. Hands off. Open three. Megan Belt comes up short. Rebound Westside. Coming quickly the other way is DePrima. Adriana DePrima is fouled going for the shot, and she will shoot two with 21.2 to go. As the foul is called against Megan Belt. So finally Westside starting to make that fast break work. They're doing much better against that full court press now, even though it might be too late as the first free throw is up and no good.
Yeah, Westside may be starting to heat up, but we saw something like this in the second quarter. So they do want to make sure that they just keep going with what's working, because sometimes a coach could really outthink themselves by saying, like, okay, this thing that wasn't planned is working, but I want to stick with the plan that we have. So I'm going to go away from that and go back to the plan, even though the plan isn't working. So coaches do have to be careful with that to make sure that they're doing what's working and not what they want to do.
You saw Juliana Jones get her first basket of the morning as we reach the end of the third quarter. Millard South 14, Westside 19 as the Patriots continue to impress. The two teams in the next semifinal game at 11:45 a.m. are in the building here at the Hyder Center. Second-ranked Omaha Central and third-ranked Gretna are here at the Hyder getting set to play. Likely Millard South in the final, the winner of that game, as the Patriots are cruising once again, leading 46-19, playing great full-court press defense. They're making their looks from downtown.
And in the end, that might be the difference between these two teams right now, Millard South and Westside. Westside's had a lot of really good plays, a lot of really good fast breaks, and a lot of good defensive plays. The issue is the shots just aren't falling, and sometimes that's what you have to deal with as a team. It's what Westside dealt with against Millard North. They only scored 20 against Millard North, lost 44-20 in that game. But sometimes that's just what you have to deal with as a team. We nearly saw Prep deal with it last night when they were struggling to shoot in the first half. But it's really how a team can respond when they're not hitting the shots and the easy stuff isn't going that tells you a lot about them. And Westside has done a really good job at doing their all, scratching and clawing, trying to get back into this game. And they've done a great job at it so far.
Millard South starts with the basketball here to begin the fourth quarter. Still most of their starters in the game. In fact, all of them, as here is Maya Babbitt. Leads the Patriots in points. Chloe Lemon drives in, tried to kick it out to Juliana Jones. It was a good look, but knocked away by Westside. They come the other way with DePrima. Hands it off to Olivia Kraft, guarded by Belt. Back to DePrima, but she did step out of bounds, and it will be Millard South basketball.
And DePrima done a really good job for Westside. They're really kickstarting those fast breaks with the speed. She's got 7 points, leads the team right now. But the fast breaks for Westside, they're going well, but they're just not going well enough.
Here come the Patriots now. Trying to grow their lead even further as Chloe Lemon could not get it to her intended target. Megan Belt was tied up as players hit the floor. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Westside basketball.
Looks like foul on Lemon.
Yeah.
And that's her 4th, so Millard South really getting into foul trouble. And a great play by DePrima there. She was actually fighting around a screen by Megan Belt just to tip that ball. It was originally a play designed, I'm not sure who it was for, but the play was for Belt to screen off someone, and then somebody else would be open. But DePrima just would not let that happen. A great play from her.
Sean Law can't get the shot to go. If you're just joining us, she's only got 2 points. Big surprise there as Patriots have shut her down and they step out of bounds. Westside will take over with 6:55 to go in the 4th quarter.
And Juliana Jones, the sophomore, has done a pretty good job on Sean Law defensively. Not really showing up on the stat sheet, only 2 points, 3 fouls, but she's really forced Sean Law out of her comfort zone, forced her to take shots from farther away than she'd like, and that's working well for her.
Layup was no good from Caitlin Hanna. Here come the Patriots. Nice catch there on the high and outside pass and the basket for Chloe Lemon. She's up to 8 points, and it's a 29-point Patriot lead with 6:30 to go. Now Madeline Siebler for the Warriors. Hands it off, looking for a three-pointer. It is up and good. Adriana DePrima now with 10 points for the Warriors as she puts it in from downtown, and it's 48-22, 6:15 to go. Now for Millard South, Lemon over to Cora Olson in the corner. Able to spin past DePrima. Maya Babbitt for 3, short, and the rebound pulled in by Westside.
And Westside starting to do a good job defensively. The drives aren't coming as easily for Millard South as they did in the first half.
Pass was swatted away and out of bounds by Chloe Lemon, who will check out of the game. Coming back in, Lexi Finkenbeiner for the Patriots with 5:57 to go in the 4th quarter. 48-22 lead for the Patriots. Westside working on the offensive end. Here's Madeline Siebler, 11 versus 11 as she goes in on Finkenbeiner and is fouled. So going to the line for 2 will be Siebler. As Finkenbeiner.
And Westside starting to draw Millard South into foul trouble. Already in the bonus with still 5:54 to go in this 4th quarter. So Westside really done a good job at driving into the lane and getting the calls. The issue is they just haven't gotten enough until now to start shooting free throws for them.
First free throw, no good from Siebler. Here comes the second to try and make it a 25-point game. No good. And the rebound pulled in by Megan Belt. Millard South back the other way with it. Lexi Finkenbeiner gets it to Maya Babbitt. Able to find herself some space at the top. Now Belt. Back to Finkenbeiner. Inside. Nice defense by DePrima. She's really coming alive in this 4th quarter. As Westside will try and head back the other way. Millard South has eased up on that full court press. Westside having a much easier time getting out of their zone as the shot does not go. Siebler's layup rolls just out. And now Chloe Lemon for Millard South with 5:15 to go.
And Westside really pushing the pace now. They know that unless something crazy happens, they're done with this tournament. And they're really trying to make sure that if they go out fighting.
Here's Megan Belt. Kicks it over. Juliana Jones at the top. Now on the far side, Cora Olson. Back to Megan Belt. Nearly tried a three-pointer. Nice step move there and getting to the paint, drawing the foul, Lexi Finkenbeiner.
That's 5, I think, on Siebler.
Yeah, foul is called on the floor.
And it is 5, yep.
4th on Siebler.
4th, okay.
So it is on Siebler, but it is
Nope.
only, or is it 5?
It is 5.
It is 5, okay. Yep. Made a mistake at the beginning.
So Siebler, I think, is going to have to leave the game.
Yeah, she will.
She played well, got 1 point, but she played some really good defense. And the defense for Westside on the pick and rolls has been pretty good against Millard, because we see Millard South try the pick and roll a couple of different times, but whether it's Sean Law popping up to prevent the perimeter player from scoring or the guard popping down to prevent the roller from scoring, Westside has done a really good job at making sure that the pick and roll isn't there for Millard South.
So taking the place of Siebler for Westside, it's Ruby Sikora. Millard South has made some substitutions as well. Miranda Kelly has checked in. As Westside now in a scrum for the basketball, going to be a jump ball and
that's
possession.
Millard South.
Yeah, it'll stay with Westside.
Okay.
Yep, Warriors will keep possession on the jump ball. They're starting to get some sustained offense here
Mm-hmm.
with 4:32 to go in the fourth quarter. Still trailing by 26. Inbound goes to Olivia Kraft, able to get around, and some nice touch, but it does not go off the front iron. And here comes Millard South the other way, Lexi Finkenbeiner.
And Millard South doing a good job at really kick-starting that offense, getting past half court quick, forcing Westside to scramble to set up their defense, because scrambling can lead to mistakes, and that's exactly what Millard South wants.
Miranda Kelly kicks it out. Finkenbeiner had a look at a three, didn't take it. And now she'll try to drive back in. Had it poked away by Hannah. Now Sean Law rumbles back the other way. She lost possession, but was fouled in the process by Lexi Finkenbeiner.
That's 4 on Finkenbeiner. So Millard South has gotten into quite a bit of foul trouble so far this game. Juliana Jones with 3, Finkenbeiner with 4, and Chloe Lemon also with 4. They've got to be careful. I mean, this might be the time where you take out your starters anyway, but you do want to make sure that they don't foul out, because that could leave a bad taste in your mouth heading into the finals.
Caitlin Lessig checks in for Maya Babbitt on the Patriots side as Sean Law makes the first free throw. 3:57 to go in the fourth quarter. Sean Law coming into the game shooting 54% from the line, and she goes 1 for 2 on that trip. And Millard South grabs the rebound. Here comes Juliana Jones for the Patriots. 3:50 to play. Cora Olson to Caitlin Lessig. Juliana Jones now on the far side. Couple substitutions set to check in. As it's Olson back to Jones. Olson again has a look at a three, and she converts. Cora Olson up to 14 points. Excellent morning for her.
1 away from the team lead, too.
Yeah, 3:25 remaining in the fourth.
And Millard South continues to do a great job at moving on offense and waiting until they've got the open shot. Because you hear that a lot with teams. It's just like, make sure that if somebody else has an open shot, you give it to them. But Millard South does a really good job at that.
There's a nice layup on the fast break the other way. Miranda Kelly's first points of the morning. And with just over 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the Millard South lead is at 30, 53 to 23. And a timeout is called for by Westside as they're going to unload their substitutions here. 4 checking in for the Warriors, 2 checking in for the Patriots here, as the starters will come out for Westside as well as Millard South. So 2:59 to go in the fourth quarter. Everybody except Megan Belt and Chloe Lemon have taken a seat on the bench as far as the starters go for Millard South. Westside has put all their starters on the bench here with just under 3 minutes to play. Looking for some space here. Stella Mingy is able to get around eventually. Kicks it out. Shani Thompson working on Megan Belt. Thompson kicks it out. Now Ellie Farringer.
And Westside doing a good job at working around the ball, waiting to see if somebody gets open, if Millard South's paying too much attention to the ball. And that's worked well for him.
Shani Thompson inside. The layup did not go. The second one does not go either for Ruby Sikora. And Millard South comes the other way. 2:15 remaining in the fourth. Megan Belt. And it looks like a timeout is called for by the Patriots as they will bring in 3 more substitutes. And that will put all of their starters on the bench. So it's backups on all 5 for both sides here. 2:14 to go in a 30-point game.
And a good team game by Millard South. A lot of people scored. A lot of people did great things defensively. A lot of people did great things in transition. And in the end, they come away with a win, which is exactly what they came here to do.
Here's Olivia Lodu for the Patriots. Just checked into the game. Shot doesn't go. And the rebound is able to come out to the Patriots. Bree Urbon gets it to Sydney Youngcloss. Caitlin Lessig now. Miranda Kelly works it in, kicks it out. Urbon again. Now Youngcloss drives in, and she is fouled, and she will go to the line to shoot 2 with 1:34 to go in the fourth quarter. Foul called against number 32, Bree Bell of the Warriors. First free throw from Youngcloss, up and no good. as the Warriors will bring in a couple more substitutes. Lily Tobin, number 2, and Elaine Wiles, number 34, as everybody is seeing action on both sides. Second free throw up and good from Young Kloss. Her first point of the game. Minute and a half to play here in this one. 31-point lead for the Patriots, well on their way to the championship game. However, an and one for Westside. Nice play there by Bree Bell to get the basket and the foul. She'll go to the line for one more free throw.
And a great offensive play there by all of Westside. It was Stella Minga who made the pass after a great back cut from Faringer. And then Faringer was able to find Bell in the post for an and one layup. Great offensive play from Westside.
Come the Patriots the other way. The foul was against Olivia Lodu, number 21. She's got the basketball now. 1:15 to go. High pass, looked like it slipped out of her hands. Was able to get to her intended target, Urban. Back to Lodu. Drives into the paint. Tough shot and a foul. So, seen a lot of fouls late in this one, as Lodu will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. Foul was against Bree Bell. 1:06 to go. First free throw from Lodu is up and good. Her first point of the game.
And we've seen now both players on the first and second units for both teams do a really good job at driving to the hoop and making the most of their opportunities, whether they're hitting their free throws or they're just making the layup. We've seen a lot of it on both sides, but some great drives and finishes.
56-26 lead for the Patriots. 55 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. There's Lily Tobin with it for Westside. Gives it off to Stella Mingy. Back to Tobin. Trying a 3. No good off the back iron, but the rebound does eventually come near her, and the tie-up will result in a jump ball. Patriot basketball with 44.9 to go. So Millard still holding on to a 30-point lead. All of their players have scored aside from Bree Urban and Caitlin Lessig. Both of them are in the game at the moment. Here's Lessig with it, gives it to Lodu. Now Miranda Kelly at the top, over to Olivia Lodu. Back inside, nearly got it to Lessig, but just a bit too high and out of her reach. Out of bounds, Westside basketball with 24.4 to go. 20 seconds left now. Westside brings it back the other way. Elaine Wiles gives it off to Lily Tobin. Looking for Elaine to drive in. Instead, has to pass off. Tough shot. Doesn't hit the rim, but out of bounds. Westside will keep possession.
And Westside their offense is starting to go to a nice 1-2 game where there's kind of some give-and-go action going. And it's worked successfully for a couple of nice drives. They haven't been able to finish as much as they'd like, though.
Foul called against the Patriots as Lily Tobin draws the foul. Bree Urban the guilty party, and Tobin will go to the line to shoot 2 with 9.8 to go. So a chance to cut the Patriot lead in half here if she makes them both. First one is up and good.
In half?
Yeah, 56-28.
Oh.
Yeah. This one would make it 56-28, and it is good.
I thought you meant it would take the lead from like 2-1 or something. I was just, wait a second.
No, Millard South, dominant performance today. They won it by a lot more than 1 or 2. A 28-point victory over Westside, and the Patriots will move on to the championship game where they will face the winner of Omaha Central and Gretna. That game will be played in about half an hour from now. Great game from the Patriots. 15 points from Maya Babbitt, another great performance from her. Cora Olson with 14. Stars were shining again. Everything was just perfect from Millard South today.
Really great team game. They made their threes, they made their layups, they made their free throws. They played great defense, and the press worked to perfection, and that's all you can ask for Millard South.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do on Saturday, either facing the 2nd seed Central or the 3rd seed Gretna in the championship game. All right, we will have Central and Gretna for you in about half an hour, so stay with us on the Creighton Prep Sports Network.